on you yet, Marv, or not?
Yeah, that's okay, but I'm just reminded I was in the Philadelphia event as well, but my wife and I have been big fans of Miles Monroe. When I look in our library, we have his books everywhere. All I remember is some takeaways in my life from having met him once live, and it was absolutely amazing. And two things that continue to stay with me is how he really sends a strong message about paying forward. Once we realize who we are and what we're capable of, our job is not to keep it to ourselves, but to remind those folks that we come into contact with about the potential that exists within them. And so there are a couple things that I continue to do. And one is that I believe that everyone that I bring into this business or anyone that I meet along my journey, that they are individuals of promise. And that whatever I can do to instill in them a sense of belonging, a sense of value, that they begin to understand that their transformation from being an individual of promise is to become an individual of purpose. The other thing that I've learned from him is that not every day is perfect, but every day is purpose. And then the last thing in terms of paying it forward is that as people come into our organizations who may not have the confidence or the self-esteem, you know, I always say this: I have a tremendous amount of belief in you, and until you find it for yourself, use the belief that I have in you until you can access it on your own. And so just a wonderful, incredible individual that had a tremendous impact and continues to have a tremendous impact in my life. And so I want to say thank you as well, John, for having met him live. But I've been a fan of him for a very long time. And so back to you, John.
Great. And when it comes to books on leadership, books on purpose and principle, there are some of the finest books I've ever read, and they certainly parallel, and at different times I think are even stronger than what John Maxwell has put out. So anyhow, thanks for pulling that up, Trish, and thanks for the comments from everybody.
Hey, John.
Yes,
John,
dear.
before you leave this area, this is Teresa. Trish did an excellent job going over our site, and I want to thank her for that. I just had two quick questions on the calendar that we have, so that we can also post some things that we're involved in with as it relates to ShieldNation. Wanted to be able to post that on there. I know that particular calendar is password protected. Do we just contact Trish and let her post it, or will the leaders be given the password so that we can post on it?
I think Trish, go ahead and answer it, but I think you got to forward the stuff up to myself or Trish. I'll forward it to Trish, or you got Trish's email address and she'll post it, right, Trish?
That's right. Just forward it over to me and I'll post it for you right away.
Okay. And the last question was on our live recruiting call that we have on Sunday night. It has one line left for the 28th, and are we going to start putting up the new calendar for next year?
Oh,
so that we can start filling that in. Because I was going to sign up for the 28th, but then I said, well, you may want to, John, do the 28th, or you may want to be the first one to open up for January. So I didn't want to do anything until you all said something.
No, Teresa, that'd be great if you hosted the 28th. And Trish, can we get the first quarter of 2015 up?
Yep, we'll work on that today.
All right, great.
Okay.
So, Trish, you mind popping up the Platinum calendar for me real quick? And here's what I'd like to wrap up with, and then, again, open it back up to any comments. If you have a question or comment in respect to anything, if you want Trish to go over and just highlight anything on ShieldNation, let us know. If you have a question or comment on any of the comments I'm about to make, then we will come to you here in about 4 or 5 minutes. In our 10 core commitments that I hope everybody is familiar with, we discuss the idea of one long-distance package a week. And the reason that we discuss one long-distance package a week is because it's a core principle that we want to bring to your awareness in respect to the opportunity to build a global business. I don't know, this is so far outside of what people are maybe accustomed to or disciplined for, that we need to bring awareness to this, because in any other career or facet of life, typically
we're expecting that it's like, while you're there, that's the time to go ahead and speak. You know what I'm talking about?
I think Glenn Spidell, can you mute out your phone? I think, Glenn, that was background to you.
All right, I'll see if I can.
You can probably do a *6, or Glenn, we'll just mute you out here. We got it taken care of. Okay. So this is out of the norm in respect to coming from a W-2 position into a 1099. This is out of the norm in respect to having an opportunity to build in an awfully aggressive way. So the one long distance package is very easy to do. And for all of us on the phone, you want to learn this in the early stages, because if you're a brand new junior associate and I'm teaching the business to you, when we prioritize your list, when we go through and match the credibility and contacts you have to my time and knowledge, I'm becoming familiar with the people that you have on your list. If I see that you have a Dan Webb in California, if I see that you have a Bob Cohen in Raleigh, North Carolina, if I see that you have a Teresa Johnson out there in Virginia, these are all on your warm market list, it's just as easy to go and expose them to the business and to our product as it is for us to work in our backyard and do a sit down at Starbucks. And so the whole idea is recruit to recruit. I believe the strongest tool we've got is always our membership, but we have other tools that we can provide an exposure with. Again, if you're taking notes, I had this conversation yesterday with a guy who I had a three-way call with. Our focus, a leader's focus, a platinum's focus, is always 4 exposures within 24 to 48 hours. I work to create 4 exposures within 24 to 48 hours. What does that mean? I typically always lead with the membership because I want to protect the family. Through the power of the membership, not only do referrals come, but now I'm able to get into the opportunity side of things because I'm always talking to them about the momentum we're having, the success we're having, and how we're looking for more people to join the business. So another tool that we have are the videos in the back office. Another tool that we have are the biz op meetings. Another tool that we have are Super Saturdays. And so just encourage everybody, let me close this right here, take a look at the events that are taking place in the marketplace. And this is the December calendar right here. And Trish, can you scroll down? But you can see, Tony Petrill, one of our Millionaire Club members, was in San Antonio. Rip and Patrick Hodges were out in Northern California. I know that a bunch of our team members went up to the power training. Hold on, Trish. Scroll back down just a little bit. A bunch of our team members were out right there with the power training with Darnell and Brian. Larry and Mary King, very good friends of ours in Little Rock, Arkansas. You can see here that there's events everywhere throughout North America. And if you understand the long distance package, if you understand the idea of leverage, if your awareness is, once a week, always looking at the calendar and then referencing the people that you have on your list and the people that you know, reference that list to the potential calendar of getting people to a live event. A lot of times, and I always work 2 weeks out. So if I'm just picking on Marv Worthy for a second, if Marv is a prospect for me and there's an event coming up in Baltimore, I'm looking to get a hold of Marv 2 weeks early because I want to recruit to recruit. Here's what I mean by that. So 2 weeks ahead of the event, I'm going to get Marv introduced to the benefits of our membership and how we protect families. From there, I'm going to find out if he's left his business options open, and I'm going to find out if he hasn't, then who does he know in the marketplace that might be interested in helping us expose or helping us explode the business in the Northeast corridor. So Marv says, well, John, my business options are open. I'm like, great, Marv, let me get you introduced to a couple other, it's a little bit more information. You understand the membership, so you can see that we bring immense value to the marketplace. Here's the strength of our 2 service providers, 40-year track records, and here's what the compensation plan. The company's going to pay us anywhere from $76 to $279 every time we market the membership. Let me break that down and show what that means to you. So I've got 4 quick exposures to Marv. All I'm looking for is Marv to say yes or no. So I'll say, Marv, do you see an opportunity here for yourself? Marv says yes. I'm like, fantastic. Your timing couldn't be better. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to get you really through the online training within the next 24 hours, and I'd like to put up a game plan where you and I are taking, 10, 15 guests to that Super Saturday event in Baltimore. All right, so if my goal is to get Marv on board through a sense of urgency, a fear of loss, get him on board within the next few days so that Marv is taking 5 to 7 guests over to the Baltimore Super Saturday. All right. Now, if Marv moves a little slower than that, I can still get him in the exposure process and then get him plugged into the live event, because there he can see the professionalism of what we do. But I want him to be able to look around the room and see the different folks from different walks of life, success they're having, whether part-time or full-time, whether B2C or B2B. I want to leverage the events in the North American market. I always set Marv up and say, Marv, there's going to be a lot of excitement. You're going to walk into a room. There's going to be about 100 associates. They're all coming in to see the speakers and find out more about how they can better build the business. But what I want you to spend some time with is looking at the different folks from different walks of life and the success they're having. Now, I will always call ahead, and I will have somebody at that event give a little VIP treatment to Marv as he plugs in. I'll be here in Knoxville. Maybe I'm attending my daughter's soccer game. Maybe I don't have an event this weekend in Knoxville, but I'll reach out to Teresa Wright-Johnson and say, Teresa, I'm going to introduce you to an individual by the name of Marv Worthy. I'll have him meet you at the concierge stand, and would you please give him a little VIP treatment and make sure that he gets seated and taken care of okay? And Teresa's like, John, I'll be glad to do it. And so when Teresa has her circle up, when Teresa gets with the team, she's able to invite Marv over to the family so that he's just not left alone. So anyhow, I just want to bring back to everybody the power of being able to leverage the events throughout the United States and 4 provinces in Canada. And the great news for every one of you, you can leverage typically at any one of these events one of our Millionaire Club members or one of our ShieldNation team leaders who will absolutely take care of and help you in any situation. Brielle and I just wrapped up St. Louis a few weeks ago. Bob Cohen had an individual come out through a Craigslist ad. That individual came up to me, introduced himself. I shook his hand. I put my hand on his shoulder. I said, I want to welcome you. I'm so glad that you made it out this morning. And I understand you spoke with Bob. Bob's a tremendous leader. Come up here, have a seat. Let me introduce you to a few folks. I'm going to be pretty busy because I'm actually the keynote. And we just at the end of the meeting, he's like, I love what I see. I'm ready to get started. And is there any chance that I can be as successful as you? I said, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. You're paid in direct proportion to the value you bring to the marketplace. But through the coaching and through the mentoring of Bob Cohen and myself, we're going to have great things happen. And that individual came on board, okay? So Bob wasn't there. Bob was in North Carolina. Bob was doing other things with his wife, Lisa. He wasn't there, but Brielle and I did the deal. That individual came on board. So now Bob is creating business in the St. Louis, Missouri market, okay? So with that, I'm going to throw it back out to you guys. Questions, comments? Dan Webb, I got a text from Bob. He says you've got some great things happening. You want to tell us about what you've got going out there in the California market?
Yeah, sure. It's just going out there and being and networking. And I actually got 3 insurance agents, brokers that have come on board within the last month. We're finalizing their paperwork. I'm working through Bob on that because I'm not broker certified, but yet I'm leveraging off Bob and then through the broker department. Now they're dealing directly with me, and even though I'm not broker certified, so we're getting all their paperwork done, get them all finalized. They're coming in at a manager level because the lives they have in the books, but a couple of them are pretty darn excited. One's already opened up her book of business, which is small businesses that she does. She does workers' comp and business liability and such, and so she just said, here's some people, go see them. Well, we started signing up some people with heard and doing the splits. So I'm using the commission splits that the company's offering right now, which I think is really exciting because then it's a fair split right across the board, and I love the way they're doing that. You can split small business and group, and so just really excited with what's happening. We're been able to stay in the Performance Club now for 17 months qualified, and things are happening in the Bakersfield market, which I've only been here. It'll be 2 years in February that I've moved here, but I'm going out there. I met with a guy yesterday. He's actually a former associate, and he is actually the president of the NAACP chapter here in Bakersfield. And I said, look, you're super busy, but you know a lot of people. Let's see if we can work together and help a lot of people. And just I'm doing just what you and Darcy have always said. Just focus on the membership and the cause. I've always been cause driven. So I think it's just focusing on the cause. So, John, thanks a lot, and really having some exciting time here. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great, Daniel. Congratulations. 17 months Performance Club qualifying. That is the foundation of what we do. So that's great to hear. And, so you can see Daniel's focused on all aspects of the business, the B2B side as well as the B2C side. So congratulations. Does anybody else have any comments they'd like to package? Inviting to events, leveraging the tools that we have, or any comments, questions for Trish. We'll wrap it up here in about 2-3 minutes, but I want to make sure we get time to throw it back out to you guys.
Hey, Mr. Hoffman, this is Jerry Lafredo.
Hello, Mr. Lafredo. Great to have you, sir. I forgot to go to the staff side, but Millionaire Club member. Great to get your comments. Jerry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Just a couple things. One of the things I find when I start a new person is, we're familiar with all these tools, these wonderful tools that ShieldNation has provided, but new people say, hey, go to the back office and do this and this and this, because you've been there a lot, but new people are just overwhelmed with all this stuff. So I find that you need to teach them to teach. Say, hey, listen, I need to show you this thing so that you can show other people. And you go through it a couple of times. You have to be patient with them, saying, and actually you have to go back and inspect. Say, okay, how did you do this? And to make sure they know how, because otherwise they're missing all these valuable tools. This isn't going to do any good if they can't use it. So you need to spend some time with new people and teach them to teach. And the other thing is something that we found to make long-distance recruiting kind of fun. And that is to pick a place you want to go, San Diego or Miami or somewhere else, Las Vegas. And for a new person, target it. Say, well, who do you know who knows somebody in that city or state? And you target it. You kind of narrow it down and make it fun. And say, well, gee, I know somebody knows somebody there, and they get much more excited because they have a goal in mind, a short-term goal to get that process down. And once they have the process down, then they can go, to the bigger picture and target many other cities, based on the calendar that you talked about earlier. So, let's just start them small. Get them in the habit of doing things, just like in the habit of traversing the ShieldNation website. But get that habit going first before you let them go and go on their own, because if they haven't learned how to do it, they're not going to do it. So back to you, John.
Well, Jerry, thanks, Jerry, appreciate it. What you just mentioned is our coaching model. Tell me, show me, let me, and then grow me. Tell me how the business works, show me how it works, let me do it, but then be there to help grow me. So tell me, show me, let me, grow me. That is exactly what Jerry's speaking to, the coaching model that we have at ShieldNation. So Jerry, appreciate it. Trish, if you would, just pull up the event calendar and for ShieldNation so that we can just talk about the Detroit, Michigan event coming up with Darcy Brielle and Jeff Bell and James Rousseau. So last but not least is don't forget the incentives in place. The $99 associate fee goes away January 1st. If you have not had a chance to listen to the Wednesday Biz Op meeting that we did. I was on, Larry called me. Larry did a great job, Larry Smith, for our men and women in uniforms, our veterans, people who are currently serving. If you have not had a chance to listen to that, listen to it, just so that you can capture some of the language that we as Millionaire Club members and Platinums use. If you haven't seen todaysbestcareer.com, listen to it. Capture some of the language that we use in our presentations so that you can have that in the presentations you've got. And I tell you what, all of us know, you know, some of our men and women in uniform who have made the ultimate sacrifice, you know, to carry our liberties and our freedoms forward in respect to, you know, what they do. So why not take a chance to give back? A lot of folks are not finding employment. A lot of folks are looking for something that has purpose to it, that has cause to it. And for $49, we can go out and give back with this opportunity to a lot of our veterans and certainly armed service personnel. So what a great webinar it was Wednesday night. The lines were maxed out. It was loaded up, and Larry did a great job with it. The all-in promos, it's a 5-month program. I think it wraps up in April, but everybody on this phone call, for each rank advancement you have, get a chance to earn a significant bonus for every rank advancement. And then certainly Performance Club is the foundational principle of what we, you know, teach. So if you haven't and aren't using the Coach 3 to Performance Club Qualify equals ED, please do so, and you'll start filling in those boxes really quick. You'll start getting a good snapshot visually of where people are, and we'll be good to go. So Trish, did you pull up the calendar? Okay, so just to let everybody know, January, is this January? Go into January, and you can see the Northern Super Regional just up there. So just to give you an idea where we're going to be, now we've got luncheons up there. So with Jim and Jackie Harkema, the Melias, Darcy and Brielle, and we just got a whole host of amazing things happening. Again, Jeff Bell, James Rousseau, all the January 9th and 10th. The following weekend, the 16th and 17th, Atlanta, Georgia. So we've got Atlanta, Georgia, and you can see just all of the tremendous leaders that are going to be in Atlanta. Again, these are just the ones that are kind of in our areas. Atlanta's 3 hours away. Michigan's quite a bit further. But when you look at the drive-in capabilities, I know that we've got the Chicago team coming into Michigan. We've got Indiana in Ohio plugging into that Michigan event. In Atlanta, we've got people coming in from Alabama, from Mississippi, and from South Carolina and North Carolina to the Atlanta event. So there's all kinds of events taking place throughout North America, and it's an opportunity to leverage and not only finish strong, but then to leverage everything that's coming up for the first quarter of 2015. All of that sets the stage for Vegas in July. So, hey, great call. Appreciate everybody. And more than anything, from all of the family at Shield Nation, Merry Christmas to all of you. We will not be having a call. Let me look at my calendar. There will be no call on the 26th, the day after Christmas. And there will be no call on the day after New Year's. So the 26th and the 2nd, we will not be having a webinar. We will kick everything back off on January 9th. So hopefully you all got that, okay? All right, Trish, anything else from you?
Hey, John, one of the things... Hey, John?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, one of the things nobody mentioned is that fabulous app. That fantastic app that we have now for Legal Shield is just, that's awesome. It's just amazing.
Hey, listen, Daniel, thanks for bringing that up. The mobile app is absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't downloaded it, be sure to do so. I think the instructions are on the website, but you can go into just your apps account, go to Legal Shield, download it, and be rocking and rolling. There it is. Trish has it pulled up right there on the screen. So, bingo, point, touch, talk. And I've had a lot of testimonials come through already about how people have used it. So Daniel, thank you for bringing that up. Trish.
Yeah, you did.
Trish, comment?
Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. Have a good New Year's, and we'll see you on the 9th.
All right, guys. Very good. Be blessed. Talk to y'all soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas, buddy.